Okay, here is a special Foxwalk Primitive review of the Fiddleback Forge Asp with me and my son Evander. When I went to Blade Show and I got the haul, I brought it back and I told him you can pick out any one of these you want as your birthday present. And you picked this one, didn't you? Why did you pick this one?
Because I like it.
Because you like it? Because it's comfortable?
Yep.
And it's sharp as a razor, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the Asp by Fiddleback Forge, this one in particular, they always have a 4.5 inch cutting blade. And the handles, length and width and build materials vary by build. They're never the same pretty much. This one is looking like 1/8 inch natural liners with natural bolsters and blackwood scales there. The blade is spalted A2 tool steel with a high convex grind and a beveled edge. So it's got the signature Fiddleback bullseye lanyard tube. It's very well balanced. It's very, very comfortable. And me and my son here, me and Van, are going to put this thing through its paces. So let's get to it. Well, as you can see, I wasn't batoning stupid. I took some, some smaller than wrist size pieces of wood, because that's all you'd want to do with a knife this size and this thin. But you can tell with this very dry, seasoned sycamore, that it did quite well. It went through the knots. It cut right through them. It didn't split the wood per se. It more or less cut the wood. But with a knife this thin, that's what you're going to get. The fact of the matter is, it can take the abuse to get down through some smart batoning. Now you'll also notice that we didn't abuse the tip very much, and we're going to avoid that because that is such a fine, thin tip, which is going to be very, very good at drilling. That's going to help us drill starter holes or holes in material to, say, get water. We can help drill starter holes for a hand drill. Get in there and carve one out very simply with that extremely fine tip. I just like to drill down a little bit just to get me started, so I have something to go around with the point of my knife. I mean, that's got a starter socket already. Now, one of the most important things of survival in bushcraft is firecraft. And having a very good bushcraft knife basically makes survival a cheat. And a good test of any bushcraft knife is making a hand drill set. Because when you have the right hand drill, it's very fragile. And you can't just go cutting at it, beating at it. It needs to be handled delicately because you want the pith to remain. See? There's the pith. So we need one end for the drill and one end for our hands. Fat end for your hands, small end for the drill. What we want to do is Andy's not known for doing squared spines because he knows they're a little dangerous sometimes. But what we can do is use that rounded spine, that dulled spine, to kind of smooth the stick, kind of burnish it a bit. And I have no idea how well this spindle is going to work. I mean, that's really smooth. That's almost glass smooth now. And that's what you want. So we can burnish it down the rest of the way. This may be too rotted, but we'll see. This fireboard is very dry, not quite punky, but near it. And that's kind of what you're looking for in a fireboard. So I just want to clear down a nice flat spot. Make it easier to hold so it doesn't want to roll under my foot. This knife does a really good job of just clearing away material. See what a nice round hole socket this tip will get you. I mean, this is effortless. This is beautiful. This is everything you want in a bushcraft blade right here. And that's a pretty notch, buddy. Right there. You know how they say you got a pretty mouth? Well, this is a pretty notch. That's burnished in quite nice. We need a notch now. When I was at tracker school learning primitive skills, we talked about making fireboards. You follow the rule of the eighths. And the easiest way you can understand that is that's a pizza. Your notch wants to carve just a piece of the pizza out. So you carve a piece of pizza out. And my fireboard just broke. It happens. It happens. Not the knife's fault. Not the maker's fault. Not the material's fault. Sometimes it just happens. See, that's what happens when you got too big of a notch. Your spindle comes out. See, it's wanting to come out, and it's breaking my spindle, so that's bad. And the only way to fix it is just start over and make a new socket and try it again. Let's talk a little bit more about how we can make a small knife do big stuff. And this is another seasoned piece of sycamore. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to baton cross grain and baton out a notch. Say for making a piece of camp furniture or shelter or whatever. So same deal, we're going to lay it cross grain like this. We're going to baton in, we're going to move over, baton in, and then we're going to chunk it out. So let's try it out. My baton's breaking. But that's okay, because I got another one standing right by, a bigger one. Now if your knife gets stuck, just tap the knife, not your wrist, and it'll come out. Now what we want to do to make this easy is put an X in there. Alright, now it's going to be a lot easier to chunk it out. It's going to come out in pieces, and instead of trying to come out one big chunk at the same time. Back in there, chunk it right out, and just use this tip, get in there, and we'll just cut it. Get down in there and really get out all those pieces that we cross-grained a ton through. That demonstration there, a small knife doing a big knife task, that's the reason, or one of the reasons, why you don't see very many large knives coming out of the Fiddleback Forge shop. Andy Roy knows how to make a small knife do big knife stuff. That blade profile is so low and so high of a grind and so razor sharp. I mean, you can just scalpel cut right in. I mean, it cuts very deep with just almost no effort. This is a true bushcrafter's knife. That's really what this is. And just shaving is just as every bit as easy as feather sticking. I mean, it just removes material without much effort at all. I mean, especially when you're not push cutting it, when you're slicing through. It's just sliding, basically. Sliding right through, getting rid of material. And this is some seasoned wood. This is not just dry. This is not just new, fresh wood. This is seasoned. This is very, very hard, seasoned wood. And it's pretty much just making light work of it. And like we've said before, it's almost like you're cheating when you use it, right? We can notch it. It's a very good test to do when you want to test out the capability of a knife in your own hands. Make a quick tent stake. Ethan Becker taught me that. You can make tent stakes, trap triggers, whatever you want to make. But you need to be able to shave, you need to be able to notch, and you need to be able to score, break, and crown. And if you can do all that very easily, very effortlessly, and very comfortably with a knife, you've got a good knife for your hand. When I was at Blade Show and taking about an hour and a half to pick a fiddleback out, Andy Roy kept poking his head over my shoulder, and the guys there at the booth were telling me things. This handle, according to Andy, is he designed this handle to feel like a handshake. So when you grab it, that's pretty much exactly what it feels like. It pretty much just disappears in the contours of your hand. This is one of the more comfortable knives I've ever held. And it doesn't matter which way I hold it, it's just as comfortable. I mean, I can choke way up on it, use my thumb, hook my finger back here for chest pulling. It's just an extremely comfortable knife. And Andy said that this is part of their bushcraft tactical line. So as you can tell, it's kind of got guards up on top and bottom. And that again is for the tactical purpose of sticking. And you'll notice how pointy this blade profile really is. I can't think of a better way to demonstrate knife control than by carving out a quick tri-stick. All the notches involved require a decent amount of torque control, hand control, wrist control, however you want to call it. And the ergonomics of this knife, the Fiddleback Forge Asp, are near perfect. And that's a big deal. This is one of the most controllable and comfortable knives I've ever used. When carving a square hole, it's very important to maintain tip control, and having a very pointed, very sharp tip is key to carving these types of holes. Round holes are a breeze to drill. Putting this little round hole at the top of the root cleaner, the root stripper portion of the tri-stick is too easy. Okay, so that was our review of the Fiddleback Forge Asp. And this thing kind of blew us away, didn't it?
Yeah.
It performed really well, didn't it?
Yeah.
So it took the abuse of batoning. It carved really well. It shaved, whittled, and chipped very well. The spine isn't sharpened, but it's smoothed off a hand drill for us. And this profile is one of the best for bushcraft. It's got a low blade height. It's thin. It's incredibly sharp. It's scalpel sharp, as a matter of fact. These ergos are just like Andy Roy claims. This knife feels like a handshake. It's like you're shaking your best friend's hand when you pick it up to use it. What do you think about it, buddy?
I think it's pretty good.
You think it's pretty good? You glad you picked this one for your birthday present?
Yes.
Well, good. You're welcome. I got you this sheath today. Fiddleback Forge knives do not come with sheaths. The mid-tech line comes with one, but when you get a custom, you're going to have to come up with a sheath of your own, or you're going to have to hire a sheath maker to make one. This one I picked up at Smoky Mountain Knife Works. It was longer, but what I did is I just measured it off and cut it, and it's a perfect pocket style sheath for that knife. Happy birthday, son. How about a happy Father's Day in return?
Happy Father's Day.
Well, good. It was good to get out with you and spend the day. All right. So that was our review of the Fiddleback Forge knife. If you have anything in specific that you would like to see this knife do that we didn't cover, please hit us up in the comments. Let me know, and we'll shoot a follow-up and answer as many of them as possible. We'd like to get about five at the minimum to reshoot one. So give us at least 5, and we'll do what we can do to help you out and show you some more about this knife. What do you think, pal?
I think it's pretty good.
Pretty good? You want to tell them bye?
Bye.
Tell them thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks.